Second chance tower on these things.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. How we sounding? How we sounding? Yeah, there we go. I can see me on YouTube. Look at that. Look at how this works. Then we send it out on YouTube. You can see me. I can hear myself in delay. There we go. Now I got to find the share button. YouTube. The share button. And we'll put this out here. Please subscribe. I mean, none of this matters, right? If people don't subscribe, Clay. I mean, we're giving away free content. All you got to do is click a button and you get free content.
Exclusive content.
Yes, exclusive content. So we'll do that. Mini monologue. We're going to do an hour today. I got an F1 guest in hour number 2. We're going to kind of move some stuff around. I'm going to give you a hardcore hour ahead of the Donkeys, the Broncos. My buddy Brandon Krisztal will join us from Guerrilla Sports in Denver. He's really good. And let's beat the Broncos. And for those who don't want to beat the Broncos, get out of here. For those who don't want to beat the Broncos because you want to have the 4th pick instead of the 6th, leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't want you around me. I don't want to see you. I'm not having a Modelo with you. You're not in my life. If you want to win every game and compete and talk about the history of this team and the players, you want to be critical, please be critical. But if you're going to say we shouldn't win because I live at home and I don't want to win, get out of my life.
On Unnecessary or Cast with Judah on Raider Nation Radio 920 AM KRLV Las Vegas. It's the JT the Brick Show.
You know, we're going to have a lot of positive energy. The guys that love to compete and play with passion are going to have a chance in the place.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Man, I'm loving it, man. They're making my job tremendously easy to be out here with these young, talented players, man. I think we have a really good team. I'm super excited. I'm already loving this fan base. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, ready to roll today. Am I ever not? We are the flagship of the Silver and Black Raider Nation Radio. Hope you're doing well today. We got a game tomorrow night. I talk sports all over the world, live on YouTube. You should subscribe for free on X. And I believe today is the first time, Clay, I ever simulcast the show on JT the Brick on Facebook. I'm a big Facebook guy, mostly because of the stock. Wink, wink. I love Facebook. I love me some Facebook. And you know what I want to do, Clay, on Facebook at JT the Brick? I think I have over 12,000 or 10,000 people subscribe. I think they're real, but they might be bots, you know, because here's a big thing. I have my own Facebook page under my name, John, because my name, JT the Brick, is my radio name. I have a real life. On my real Facebook page, my Facebook page is my nieces and nephews and Holy Communions, and hey, me and my wife are here. That's not for anybody else. That's my fun. Clay, you're a real Facebook friend of mine.
Right.
And I have that, but then I also have JT the Brick, where that's for the public to kind of chime in and check out too.
And you switch it up there. You have to switch it up.
Yeah.
You got to find the fine line. So where do you find the bots? Like, where do you find Robbie the robot from Lost in Space? I mean, who's
Like
real and who's
question.
not?
Here's a really big question. I think all of my Twitter followers, ex-followers, are real because I never got into that buying people, and I'm blue verified, but I never give a crap. I could have had 6 million Twitter followers if I got heinous and I got, you know, political and all that. So I don't care about the number, but I do care about Facebook because I really think you can connect with people on Facebook. You really can. Like, you can really connect with people on Facebook. Do you know every day when I wake up a little bit before my wife. The first thing I do is check my Facebook birthdays. I do. Don't you? Or don't you check who your friends are? It's their birthday.
It is kind of astounding when you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's one of your great friends' birthdays. And you're like, oh my God, I can call them. But I always say happy birthday on Facebook. And it's good for that. But, you know, I post on JT the Brick on Facebook. I put a lot of sports up there and opinions and videos. And I like that. So we welcome in our Facebook audience. We're trying to grow this outside radio. We're lucky to be on radio. You know, a lot of my good friends in radio no longer have radio shows, and they're great. And they're unbelievable radio hosts. And it's because whatever happened, something happened with the company they worked for, they got downsized, whatever. And whenever that happens, that's very sad because I started with Clay in radio. We're radio guys. And we're lucky that I'm lucky to have some TV stuff with the Raiders and all that. But we want everybody to listen on the radio and now listen on the stream and get everybody involved any way they can and make some new internet friends and be kind to everybody on social media because the trolls are out. Even the trolls in the Raider Nation. There are some trolls throughout the Raider Nation who are just, I told everybody on our YouTube feed before we started today, the mini monologue, that if you want to lose a game from here on out as a Raider fan, get out of my life. Get out of my life. You can keep listening on the radio. I'm doing really well here on this show, and we want the audience to grow. But don't ever come up to me at the Torch. Don't ever come up to me at a bar. Don't ever interrupt me in my real life and tell me if you're a Raider fan, you want to lose a game. Because you will not be in my life and you will not be acknowledged. So that's it. That's really the new rule I have. Because we've been losing a lot lately. And I've been trying to be the brick therapist and get everybody through it to the best. And a lot of people are helping me get through it. But the thing I've been telling everybody is don't make it worse. Don't be the guy at the party that gets thrown out. Don't be the guy at the bar who gets thrown out because you're being a blank. We're all upset about this. Take a vacation, get away, do what you need to do what you have to do. But we're not here to lose because we understand George Atkinson just died. He never wanted to lose. We know Max Crosby, who I was texting with this morning about a different issue. He doesn't want to lose. So you're disrespecting the late George Atkinson and currently Max Crosby if you want to lose a game. They're not going to win every game that's left. I don't know how they're going to win the next game. I don't know. But we're not encouraging losing. We've lost enough. Every victory, every first down is building towards the future. Do you get that? Every practice rep, every completion in practice, every good rep in the weight room leads to success. They're not having success now. So people are saying, I saw a gentleman tweet today and I retweeted it. No, if we kick the field goal against Chicago and hit the 2-point conversion, we're 4-4. Exactly. That's how close we are to 4-4. We got 2 wins. We're 2-6. We're close to 4-4. The Broncos have 6 wins. I can name 4 games they should have lost, and they win on walk-off field goals. There's a fine edge between winning and losing. And we're going through a bad time right now, man. We're not catching a break. Everything that we're trying to do isn't working, most of it. Most of it's not working. And everybody is trying to get to the other side and fix it. So I think a lot of sharp Raider fans don't want to fire anybody other than maybe a specific person here or there. But I think people understand the future of Pete Carroll, which is very secure, I would think. He's Pete Carroll. You know, the other coaches are going to come and go. Players are going to come and go. All of this is going to change. There's always change. We don't want any more change. We don't want any more change with the football team. We want everybody to get along, want everybody to be healthy and everybody to win. But what's wild about this year, as I was telling Clay, we've been in some really close games. We won 2 games, which is nothing to raise a flag about. But we beat the Patriots, and the Patriots, Raider Nation, are the hottest team in football, the hottest team in all of football. And then the games that the Raiders lost, 2 of them were razor thin, the Bears, and obviously the Jaguars, which we should have won. But, man, we've been blown out. We've been blown out in a number of games, and that's the focus of the monologue, brought to you by Golden Entertainment PT, 70-plus taverns. They fuel the monologue. And I want to get in here because we thank PTs every day first. This game, number 1's about winning. How do you beat Denver? We're going to do that today. Brandon Krisztal will join us. We got guests. I host a pregame show tomorrow from headquarters. Going to try to win the game. We better show up. We better show up. Pregnant pause. Dramatic pause. 3, 2, 1. We're back. We better show up. We didn't show up in Washington. We didn't show up in Kansas City. We got boat raced in Indy. We didn't show up. We didn't show up. That can't happen in Denver. You know why? Because around the league, they're waiting for us not to show up. Even Raider fans are saying on Raider message boards, the team isn't going to show up. We can't have that. Clay, you made a really good point off your morning show today about the physicality on Thursday night. Explain to everyone what you mean by that.
Thursday nights are a different beast altogether in comparison to Sunday games. If your team is more physical than the other, they have a very good chance of winning. You see a lot of underdogs, a lot of teams kind of mired in a bad season. The ones that get physical on Thursday night, they have a chance to win. And it starts with the offensive line and defensive line. But if this offensive line is able to start throwing guys around and thrashing dudes around and starting dictating the pace at the line of scrimmage, they got a chance.
Yeah, you do. You nailed that. You nailed that absolutely 100% right. What Clay said right there was very important. Thursday night is a different animal. Thursday night is a weird thing. The players don't like it at all. Players don't want to play on Thursday night. Why would you? You know that running backs don't have bedrooms upstairs. They have it on the bottom floor of their house because they can't even climb the stairs to go to their bedrooms on a Monday and Tuesday, and you ask them to play on a Thursday. No one likes Thursday night football other than gamblers and bar owners. Because you own a sports bar, you get people to come on Thursday night. You know what Thursday night used to be like in the history of sports bars? Go back. I'm going to be 60 years old in 2 weeks. How about that? Surprises to come. Surprises to come. And in my whole life, there's no such thing as a sports bar on a Thursday night. I'm a sports lunatic. I didn't go, hey, Mom, Dad, or let's go out Thursday night. Now you can go out Thursday night and watch the Lakers, the Dodgers. You can watch a Thursday night football game. So Thursday night now is a big thing. It's a really big thing. And we're playing on Thursday night football, and we need to show up because everybody's watching. Everybody's watching on Thursday night. So we got to show up. And there are people throughout Raider Nation who believe this team will be a no-show. I am not one of them. As an employee of the team and an employee of Lotus Broadcasting, we are here to encourage fans to listen to the broadcast and be encouraged and hope that things get better. We are not the group of people that tear down the team. We criticize the team. We tell you that the team isn't playing well. We interview the coaches and players. They tell you they're not doing well. But come on, we got to win these games. So we got a game on Thursday night. Let's talk about winning it. And here's why you should be excited about this game. In the fourth quarter of the Jacksonville game, we finally figured it out. Oh, my God, why did it take so long, Clay? Why did it take so long to figure it out? We played faster. We got the ball to Brock. We threw it to Ashton in space, and we played like our hair was on fire. Now, we were on the field too long. But we figured it out. Now, what are we going to do? Are we going to take that momentum? And I know we lost the game, but are we going to take the momentum of Geno throwing 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns and really being good in the fourth quarter? Are we going to build on it? Or are we going to pull a Washington Commanders, Indianapolis Colts, Kansas City Chiefs? It's going to be really easy. Friday is going to be a very interesting show around here. Friday is going to be a very interesting Bucket of Modelo show. We're either going to show up Thursday night and win. If we play a good game and lose, we'll deal with it. We better show up. We got to show up. So that's what we're going to do. Also on Friday, I'm live from Grimaldi's on Eastern. Please come out for our friends in Deep, Deep Henderson. For any of our friends out there, please come support the radio show. Our great, great partner, Grimaldi's, the best pizza I've ever had. That is coming up on Friday, noon to 2. The food's fantastic. Come for lunch if you can. I'd love to say hello and love talking sports with you. So that's where we're at. We're going to open up the show because I didn't hear it yesterday because we were on the air. We had guests. Geno Smith. I want to closely listen. It's just about 2 minutes or so on Geno Smith going into the Denver game.
Going against a pass rush like they have, how quick is release, getting rid of that ball quick?
That's important. It's important every week. I mean, there's a great pass rush on every single defense in the NFL, and getting the ball out, protecting our guys up front with getting the ball out, not holding it too long. It's very important. And, it's important that our guys are running their routes and getting to the spots. The protection is critical up front. And then obviously me being accurate with the ball, getting it out on time, in rhythm, allowing us to succeed and be our best self.
What could you say about him tonight? Spent with Jacoby Myers and just thoughts on the training?
Yeah, Jacoby, hard-working guy, extremely hard-working, very talented player, a guy who knows the game in and out, man. Like, he understands the game, and he was a valuable asset for us on the offense. I wish him the best in the future, man. I hope he gets everything that he deserves, and just as a friend, just want him to be happy. More than anything, want him to be happy. So, wishing him the best, and we got to move forward.
Talking about Brock there, you guys were in 12 personnel, I think 58% of the time on Sunday. How much of a game changer is it for your offense to be able to utilize him and Mike that often now they're both healthy?
Yeah, I mean, you got to use your great players, man. You got to use your good players, and Brock and Mike are two of our good players, and two of the guys that we rely on this offense. And if we're in 12 personnel, 11 personnel, no matter who's out there, guys got to make plays. But having those two guys on the field, you can see the results, man. They both are extremely talented players. They play extremely hard, and they're big targets, man. They find ways to get open, and you can see what they do with the ball in their hands.
Do you see Jack as having any similarities to Jacoby in their game at all? And what do you think this will open up for him now, opportunity-wise?
Yeah, I think Jack is his own player, man. I think he's a young guy who's still developing into who he's going to be in the NFL. And, again, man, Jacoby's special in his own right. But I think Jack, a completely different player. I think, what he brings to the table, his own skill set, his own set of intangibles and things that, he can help this offense. I mean, he's extremely strong at the top of routes. He does a great job at attacking the ball. And, you can see it when he does get the ball in his hand. He tries to make something happen. And the opportunities haven't really been there for him to showcase what he can do. But, that may change here in the future.
All right, so that's a portion of Geno Smith. Big D, Derek says, run Geno blank. I agree with you. I cannot believe that Geno Smith can't run the football. I can't believe it. I got that completely wrong. Completely wrong. I thought that Geno Smith would be elite at a quarterback sneak, elite on an RPO, elite on a 3rd and 2, just running a naked boot. None of it. I don't know why. He struggles sliding with the football. I don't know why Geno doesn't want to run, but Lincoln Kennedy told me, and others have told me that he doesn't want to get hit. Okay, that's fair enough. He's been hit a lot. If he doesn't want to get hit, maybe he's hesitant to run. Trevor Lawrence runs. Mac Jones runs. Baker Mayfield runs like an animal. Lamar Jackson's the best running quarterback I've ever seen. Drake May can run. Joe Flacco, not great, but he runs when he has to. Why isn't Geno running the football to secure first downs when it's only 2 feet away from him? All he has to do is run and dive over the line, and we get a first down. We get 3 more plays, maybe 4. I don't know. I didn't expect that. I thought that Geno would be much more athletic because he's always been a really good athlete. He's big and strong, man. I don't know if you saw Geno without his pads on. He puts his pads on, his shoulder pads and his cleats on. He's a big dude. We need him to run. I don't know what to tell you. So when I'm looking at this, that's one of the big things that no one shared with me. No one shared with me that Geno wasn't going to run. That's on me. That's on me. I should have been better at that. I should have figured that Geno couldn't run because he's not running. And that's too big of an important part of the game in 2025. Kyler Murray, here's another Clay elephant in the room. Let this get out of the way because someone will clip this. No one on Raiders radio and no one in Raider Nation other than JT the Brick said go sign Baker Mayfield. No one. I was on the mountain by myself. I knew Baker Mayfield from Oklahoma. I love Baker Mayfield. He was only $30 million. That was it. I said, go sign Baker Mayfield. I screamed it very, very loud on this broadcast, knowing that the general manager at the time, the owner at the time, and everybody else listens. And I said, go sign Baker Mayfield. They did not. I also said 3 years ago and 2 years ago, not in jest, for real, I said, I'll pick up Aaron Rodgers at the airport, sign him. I was right. Aaron Rodgers would have been a great signing in Vegas. He would have changed Vegas forever. He's an elite Hall of Fame superstar. He's still winning. He's in the playoffs today. I was right there. Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's available. We'll talk about that when it's available. Kyler Murray runs like a wizard. He's small. He's small. He runs. I still have Geno's back. But Geno needs to run the football. Geno needs to run. He gets paid $40 million to run the football. He's a runner. He's got to run. Let's go. So everybody's nervous about the Broncos pass rush. You'll hear Pete Carroll with me tomorrow. I said, Coach, it's at Raiders.com. Coach, Denver has 40 sacks. The next team on the list, number 2, has 28. They're the only team in football that has more than 30 sacks, and they have 40. So what are we going to do about it? Are we going to be scared? Are we going to be scared and just throw screens? Or are we going to attack the pass rush? And do what? Are we going to leave extra receivers in to block? That doesn't work, because that means we're playing 2-on-5 in the secondary. That hasn't worked. We better run the ball with Ashton Genty, and we better run it right at their edge rushers. This is like going up against Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa in their prime. Remember when we had to play? Unfortunately, those guys were injured a little bit. Remember when we had to play the Chargers and they had Bosa and Mack going? And the only way that we were neutralizing them was we would run at them, because they were taking the loop to sack the quarterback. These guys are better. These guys in Denver, Brandon Krisztal will join us here in 10 minutes. They're really good. They're really good at getting to the quarterback. So what are we going to do? Well, we got to throw screens. We got to go to Brock. We got to get the ball out quickly. Everybody knows that. So I think that's a big topic that we'll talk about today and tomorrow. Then on the pregame show, Snow Raider says Max needs help. Well, you're right. Who do you want to invite back next year who's helped Max? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? Who do you want to invite back next year who's helped Max this year? Adam Butler? We don't start the rookies. I'm okay with that. I don't think we need to start the rookies. Laulu and Butler are pretty good in the interior. Malcolm Kuntz and Tyree Wilson, what are they doing? What are they doing, by the way? What are they doing? They're good players. Tyree Wilson was the 7th pick overall. That was a mistake. We all know that. He's still on the team. He's a good player. He's not elite. The 7th round pick came and passed. He'll not be that guy here, it looks like. Malcolm Kuntz got injured. He's been back. He's a pretty good player. When's he going to wake up and have a big game? When? And then the rest of the team, the linebackers, the poor tackling in the last game is really a concern for me, because I know that Pete Carroll is one of the legendary minds in the history of the NFL, including Tom Landry, who played defensive back, Vince Lombardi. Yeah, in regards to teaching tackling. Do you know that Pete Carroll brought the modern day rugby tackle to the NFL? Did you ever see the Legion of Boom and Bobby Wagner tackle in Seattle? You couldn't name a better tackling team in the last 20 years than the teams that Pete Carroll coached. In the last game, the Raiders gave up 143 yards on defense after contact, 209 total if you added in special teams. What's that all about? That's physicality, as Clay talked about it. That's physicality. You got to be physical. You got to be physical. You got to have physicality to go out there and tackle people. So that's what we're talking about here, man. We're talking about what the Raiders need to do. I feel like I'm being a little bit angry and negative today. I apologize. It's middle of the week. Middle of the week. We got a game on Thursday. And I despise the Denver Broncos. Despise them. Because they hate us so much. We're so in their head. We're so in their head over the generations. And very similar to Kansas City, the Raiders from 1960 up into the 2000s were better than the Broncos in Kansas City. Now the Broncos in Kansas City can have a debate that they're all-time better than the Raiders because of their Super Bowl victories, their Super Bowl records and their head-to-head record. So I get really chippy on this topic. I want to beat Denver. If you'd like to beat Denver tomorrow night, please call the show. 702-365-9200. If you'd like the Raiders to entertain you, and they did in the Jacksonville game, that game was entertaining. The 68-yard field goal wasn't, but it was entertaining. If you want them to play a good Thursday night game and be entertaining, tell me how they do it at 702-365-9200. The monologue brought to you by our great friends at Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men. It's a new partner we have, the Men's Spa for Men, where you can go in for hair restorations. You can go in for Botox if you're a guy. You want to get a hydrofacial. You want to lose weight. They're on Sahara over in Summerlin, proud partner of the show, Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men. And they have a whole bunch of deals in November for you to get started. All you got to do is reach out to me. I'll connect you with them. You can go in there. If you're a guy, it's a guy's men's spa. You'll feel really comfortable, and you'll come in and out of there feeling refreshed. And I think that'll be really cool because you want to be refreshed, guys. You want to feel good. And they got an unbelievable special now, November Appreciation Month. They got hydrofacials, microneedling, filler, hair restorations, GLP-1. And for every $50 you spend this month, you'll get 10 back in credits. November Appreciation Month, $10 in credits for every $50 you spend. It's automatically applied to your next visit. Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men. Brandon Krisztal next. He's good. My buddy for a long time. He knows the Broncos. And he's very respectful of the Raiders. A very good guest. He's very good. He'll join us and we'll dive into Denver and why they're so good this year. Why did Denver get rid of Russell Wilson, have such a big cap hit, and come out of this thing better than ever? We'll dive into that next. All right, man, oh man, that was damn good. We welcome our Facebook friends.
The only fictional show about the football championship subdivision.
Thank you.
Live following JT the Big Show.
Wait, what else going on? I'm all right.
Thank you.
Come back. Hold on and back to the again.
Stone Rabanowitz every Friday at 5 on Raider Nation Radio at 9:20.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. And I'll get you right to the front.
The Las Vegas Raiders and Allegiant.
You got it. All right, thanks,
Bring
sir.
your friends.
Call back.
Some fun, but always
Okay.
bet on black. Visit their 10
Cool, man.
casinos
Thank you.
across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly. Please bet responsibly, Clay. Do you like that in all these commercials now? We'll give you $50 credit on your first bet, but be responsible about it.
Right.
What a bunch of BS artists.
Self-control and discipline.
Traffic.
Is that-
Look at the crown over my head, the Raider Angel crown. Look at that. Someone take a picture of that with the Raider crown over my head. Yeah, I feel great, man. Numbers look good. I'm turning 60 coming up in 2 weeks. I'm excited about that. And no one can make fun of me being 60 because I act like a 22-year-old. When I come home on the weekends, Clay, later than my sons who are 24 and 22, no one can say, JT's old, get off my lawn.
Is Krisztal calling in? It's gonna be awesome.
Brandon, we're going to, he'll call us. I'll tell him to call us. Yep.
Durango, Mingo, and online at busyboots.com. Hey, did you see that game last weekend? It was crazy.
Actually, we were there.
Wait, like in person? How'd you swing that?
Allegiant had a super affordable nonstop flight out there. And with how low the airfare was, buying tickets to the game was a no-brainer.
Hold my beer. I'm going to Allegiant.com right now. Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Jason, put the Rod Woodson link in. If everybody right now can please, we got over 400 people in here. If you can subscribe to our podcast, Lay in the Wood with Rod Woodson. I'm doing a new one tonight, and we got to get the numbers going, man. Rod's a big name. He's a legend. So it's Lay in the Wood. Lay in the Wood. Lay in the Wood with Rod Woodson. So Jason just put the link up. Please go in and link it and just click subscribe. I want to see a big difference there.
Richard Harris Law Firm, Nevada's largest personal injury law firm, is once again spreading cheer with Operation Secret Santa. This heartwarming tradition brings the full Christmas experiences to families in need in Las Vegas. From twinkling trees and festive meals to personalized gifts, delivering joy straight to their doorsteps. To nominate a family, go to RickHarrisLaw.com. Let's make this season magical together. ESPN Las Vegas and Raider Nation Radio invite you to the official Raiders Road Rally hosted by Coors Light. Join Cofield and Company at Second Chance's Tavern in Henderson on Thursday, November 6th. Start at 3 for the Thursday night football preview. Raiders kick off at 5. Enjoy Coors Light specials and chill with Raiders alumni, Raiders. Score Raiders prizes like gift cards, jerseys, signed memorabilia, and tickets to an upcoming game and more. It's the Coors Light Raiders Road Rally Thursday, November 6th, starting at 3 o'clock at Second Chance's Tavern on East Lake Parkway in Henderson. Celebrate responsibly.
Hey, it's JT. Grimaldi's is hands down my favorite pizza in Vegas. Grimaldi's has 4 locations in the Vegas Valley. Check it out. Okay. .com.
Celebrate Rodeo Week, Randy.
Rodeo Week. We got some things happening on. Tom Brady isn't the GM. He's the owner. He's the owner. He owns over 10% of the team. We're going to be worth $9 billion, not with a B, $9 billion by next year. He owns 20%. So Tom Brady is super involved, super involved.
To the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
Geno Smith is in the shotgun on 2nd and 3. He's back to throw, eyeing the right, steps up into the pocket. Oh, he's got it. Straight that's $4.26 with 1:52 to go. Regain the lead.
That is a great call. That is a great call by Jason Horowitz, who's a very good play-by-play host, and he does national games. He did last Thursday's Miami game. He does college basketball. He does a lot. Like this guy, my good buddy, Brandon Krisztal, who joins us from Guerrilla Sports. He knows sports as good as any of my buddies, and he's embedded with the Broncos. And I remember when you moved to Denver and you got embedded with the Broncos, and you were there with Peyton Manning, and you and Peyton Manning had that famous photo together. Now it's Sean Payton, it's Bo Nix. You really built a really nice brand in the Mile High, my friend.
Yeah, 20th full season covering the Broncos. I got here in December of 2006, so I can't count that season when that was the year Mike Shanahan decided to play Jay Cutler despite being 8-5 with Jake Plummer, but Jay was his first round pick, and they finished 8-8 and missed the playoff. How about this, though? Fun fact. So 21 seasons, that was Brandon Marshall, the wide receivers rookie year. Mm-hmm. There's been at least one player named Brandon on the roster since that season, and sometimes twice, including 2 different Brandon Marshalls. Las Vegas' own Brandon Marshall, the linebacker, of course, is one of those, but he was on the team with Brandon McManus. You got Brandon Jones now. There's always at least one Brandon.
Yeah, I tell you, you show up, you're on multiple platforms, and you even came on with me as the Raiders beat the Broncos 8 in a row. Man, was I flexing my Twitter muscles. Denver 8 in a row, 4 seasons, and that was all in Allegiant Stadium. So what I loved about that is the Raiders beat the Broncos. The Broncos never won at Allegiant Stadium. Then they do something super radical. They get rid of Russell Wilson. At the time, I thought that was nuts. I was wrong. They bring in Bo Nix, now Sean Payton, and the tide has turned. What has made Denver so good in the last year and a half?
Well, as much as we want to talk about how good of a head coach Sean Payton is, and he will go down as certainly one of the most creative offensive coaches we've ever seen and productive. And I think there's a chance he ends up in the Hall of Fame. Certainly another Super Bowl would help solidify that. You know, we saw the semifinalists come out today, 2 former Broncos coaches, Mike Shanahan, I guess former Raiders coach as well. He and Dan Reeves both on that list, and plenty of people think they should be in. Of course, they're in a battle with Bill Belichick on the list for the first time. So Bill's probably going to be first ballot. You can't really argue with that. But nonetheless, Sean may get there sooner than later amongst his peers. Pete Carroll has one ring. John Harbaugh has one ring. So those are the guys. Andy Reid has obviously passed them. But Sean's in that conversation with that tier of coaches. But for as good as he is as a head coach, and he does get some of this credit, it's been the defense led by Vance Joseph the last 2 years that's really set the tone for the Broncos, and is doing that again this year. And then Bo Nix has certainly made plays when given an opportunity, and when it's clicked, it's looked really good. And he's accounted for the second most touchdowns. He and two other quarterbacks, I guess, are right behind Patrick Mahomes and maybe Josh Allen, who have 21 touchdowns, and Bo's in the group of guys that have accounted for 20 touchdowns this year. So the offense has been up and down, but the defense has been lights out really all season. They've had flashes where they've let up, but number one in key categories, including sacks, third down, and most importantly, red zone. We saw that again on the goal line twice against the Texans last week.
Yeah, Brandon Krisztal is our guest. Let me just stop and say, Mike, it's disgusting that Mike Shanahan isn't in the Hall of Fame with 2 Super Bowl rings. It's a disgrace that Tom Coughlin isn't in with 2 Super Bowl rings. Tom Flores had to go in a wheelchair. I emceed the event. It was one of the high honors of my Raider career. He was in a wheelchair as Tony Dungy and Bill Cowher were in gold jackets with 1 ring. How in God's name could Bill Cowher and Tony Dungy be in the Hall of Fame and Mike Shanahan not be there, and Shanahan's got 2 rings?
Yeah, and you're right about Tom Coughlin as well. But Mike, with those winning percentages and some of the coaches, his peers that he beat year in and year out, it does seem, it's funny because Mike loves Don Coryell. So when Don Coryell got in a couple of years ago, Adam Schefter talked to Mike, and Mike could not say enough nice things about him. But there's plenty of people that think Mike probably should have been in there ahead of a guy that he, truly appreciated and in some ways idolized. But yeah, he's going to now have to wait 1 or 2 more years because let's be honest, the Belichick deserves to go in first ballot. You got 6 rings, whether Tom Brady gets most of the credit or whatever. He was the coach of record, and it's hard to argue against. You can't argue against it. He's got the most Super Bowl wins of all time, and I don't think he'll be caught. So, will some of these guys that we just talked about, Sean Payton, John Harbaugh, Pete Carroll, get there? We think, but we've seen the line, and Tom Flores is a great example. Look at how long it took Coach Flores to get in when he should have been in years ago as well. I think the Hall of Fame does it wrong. I think they're trying to keep people out a little too aggressively.
Yes.
There's less than 400 people in the Hall of Fame as coaches, contributors, players. And even if you put that number at 500 right now, that's still a fraction, but they would all help tell the story, of the NFL even better.
Brandon Krisztal's our guest. So you lose the leverage game on the re-kick by Indianapolis, which was really bizarre. But the limited Bronco games I'm watching this year, they're very dramatic wins. There's a lot of wins. They're very dramatic against some opponents. I've been kind of critical of the ease of some of the wins. Some of the teams that the Broncos have beat, the Raiders haven't played yet, some of the easier teams, and they're winning. And then I look up and it's 18-15. And it's, wait a second. Are the Broncos really good? Are they playing down to their competition? Are they playing up to their competition and winning because of coaching? What is the theme so far of the Broncos season?
Well, I think the theme has just been that they're finding a way to win, and it doesn't always look the same. Your hometown Giants, it took 3 quarters for them to figure it out, but then they reel off 33 points, including falling behind, as people don't, may not remember in the history books, but they're behind before they go down and get that game-winning field goal from Will Lutz. The Jets, they're trailing there and then are able to kick a game-winning field goal in London against a bad Jets team where they sacked Justin Fields 9 times. And then the other day, they knocked CJ Stroud out of the game, no malice, no penalty on the hit, but he gets a concussion and he's done. And they still have to squeak by Davis Mills and the Texans, who have a really good defense. It's interesting that the Texans' defensive numbers are so good. They don't really get after the quarterback the way you think, especially with Hunter and Will Anderson, but the Broncos found a way to win that game. The Cowboys, they obviously boat raced from start to finish. We thought it'd be strength on strength for that Cowboys offense, and it just wasn't because that Cowboys defense is atrocious, and they obviously had no problem with Jake Browning and the Bengals on that Monday night game. But they've been in the games, and you talked about the leverage loss. A week later, they were beating the Chargers the entire fourth quarter until that game-winning field goal. And so they haven't, trailed in the fourth quarter of those close games with the better teams. And even the other day, I guess they weren't trailing, but to kick the game-winning field goal. So they've just found ways to win. And last year, they were 1-6 in one-score games. And this year, they're obviously, what is that, 5-3 5-2, I guess, in one-score games.
It's incredible. That's what Vegas says. I'm not a gambler, but you and I interview a lot of gamblers. They say those trends always flip, right? You can't win a game by one-score game the next year, or the teams that didn't make the playoffs, or two teams that go to the playoffs miss it the following year. It's an amazing story what's happening in Denver. Let's get to the pass rush, because we have Max Crosby, and he's a beast, and the other pass rushers we have are pretty good, but they haven't played well together, whereas Denver has 40 sacks and the second team in the entire NFL behind them has 28. Why are they so great at the pass rush this year?
Well, it's a combination of things. And look, they led the NFL in sacks last year too. So this isn't a fluke. And last year it did help that they had leads in some of those games, especially against some of the bad teams. But they're able to dial it up, and that's where Vance Joseph continues to get credit. And Sean Payton, who wasn't necessarily, Sean's not the quickest to talk about his staff other than to talk about him generally. But he's mentioned Vance Joseph by name several times now in recent weeks, against the Jets, against the Cowboys, and then the other day as well against the Texans. And yesterday was asked about him again. But that Vance is able to dial up different exotic looks, and they're near the top of the list in terms of blitz rate, but it doesn't always look the same. DBs will come, but the guys up front is really where it starts. And when you've got two guys like Jonathan Cooper and Nick Benito, who was leading the league in sacks, he's I think third or fourth right now with 8, but Cooper's right behind him with 7. Jared Allen on the inside had the most pressures for an interior D lineman last year. He's got 5. And I mentioned some of those DBs, they get after it. You got a guy like Jonah Ellis, who they took out of Utah a year ago, who when he's been healthy, he can get to the quarterback. So they just come a bunch of different ways. Talanoa Hufanga, who's a tone setter, has blitzed a little bit. They just got Dre Greenlaw back, really. He had a sack against the Texans. So it comes from all different angles. And when you have the play like they've had on the back end, especially when Patrick Finn Jr., the reigning defensive player of the year, has been healthy, that gives you so much more freedom because they've been good in coverage. They weren't as good without PS2, but they were still good enough against Davis Mills. But, yeah, it's a relentless pass rush, whether he just brings 4 or brings 5, or every now and then when they dial it up with 6.
Brandon Krisztal joins us from Guerrilla Sports. We appreciate his insight. And also, a lot about the Raiders building. There's some former executives going back to SpyTech, some of the football operations now who come from the Denver Broncos. What's your impression now of the struggle that Pete Carroll's having with Chip Kelly on getting the Raiders going?
Yeah, and I'll probably have a better sense after I see some of the people that I know tomorrow, because you know how it is when things aren't going smoothly. You're not in a hurry to reach out. Not that people don't want to hear from you, but they're going to just kind of play it close to the vest. Same reason I haven't really spent a lot of time talking to Darren Muji privately with the Jets, although he made a bunch of moves, so now I probably should reach out. And even our old pal Champ Kelly, with what he did with the Dolphins. But with the Raiders specifically, I think that it's a kind of, I don't say push and pull, but John Spytek, who I know has obviously the backing of ownership and certainly relationship with Tom Brady, isn't looking over his shoulder about losing a job, I don't think, in year one. But he has to probably pick his spots where he wants to be more assertive when you've got Pete Carroll as well as Chip Kelly. When you've got guys that are that respected, obviously calling the shots and running the offense. And so, from a distance and talking to people that talk to them, and talk to the people in the building, it just feels like they won't say it out loud, but they're not getting what they thought they were going to get from Geno, and that sets the tone. And then obviously the O-line play isn't where they thought it would be, and that's going to limit what you can do in the run game, but they kind of work together. And then I'm so glad they didn't trade Max Crosby, because Max Crosby is a Raider through and through. And, I grew up in Dallas and would have been cool to see him on the Cowboys. Sure. Would it have helped the Cowboys get to the playoffs? Maybe not. But I think Max, and he wants to be there and be a part of the rebuild, but I still think he needs a little more help, or a lot more help. And so I think it just takes time. I think we just assumed that Pete would come in and they would run the ball more effectively because of Genty, and Bowers would help open things up. But then he's obviously been banged up, so that's part of it too. So I don't want to misrepresent anything in terms of conversations I've had, but I have a feeling between now and the next time we talk in December, when the Broncos are there in about a month, I'll have a better handle on things.
Yeah, as we wrap it up, I think this is a real critical comment for your show back there to tell everybody. This is a Very important game for the Raiders to show up because they got smashed against Mariota and the Commanders. They got smashed by Daniel Jones, who was wearing a baseball cap in the fourth quarter. And one of the worst games I've ever seen was the loss to Kansas City, 33 first downs to 3. Kansas City had 33. And the Raiders looked good against Chicago, should have won, should have beat Jacksonville on a 2-point conversion, should have, could have, would have. They got to play a competitive game, and there's no reason not to because this is a rival. This is a blood rival. So that will have Max and Geno and Pete Carroll all aware that Raider Nation expects them to be in it and win the game and put up a fight here. So what do you think is going to be the key here, the way Bo Nix is playing and everything you saw about the Raiders and a short week for the Broncos considering how close their game was?
Yeah, I think the biggest key, honestly, is going to be, can the Raiders execute on offense? Can they hold on to the football? Because I don't think they have a quick strike offense, and the Broncos have been the best team in the league at getting off the field on third down. And so when you look at it, the Raiders' offense on third down is one of the better in the league. That's probably, it is their second best statistical category after not fumbling the ball away. They're 11th in the NFL at extending drives. So I think that's going to be a huge key, and the Raiders are going to have to get a little lucky with a turnover here and there. And look, Bo's been better than bad, but he had one where he threw into, he didn't see the safety coming over the other day. He hung the ball up a little bit against Houston, and the safety runs over, makes a great pick, really athletic Ed Reed style coming from the other hash. But those throws are out there for Bo to make a mistake here and there. So I think they're going to need a little bit of that and have to hold on to the ball. And on third down, they're going to have to keep that Broncos pass rush at bay, which is easier said than done because that's when they've been at their best. Is on third down, dialing it up and getting off the field.
Tell everybody where they can get your content, your streaming, social media, all that, please.
Yeah, at BK Denver Sports is my stuff all across socials, but Guerrilla Sports, like Guerrilla Warfare, Guerilla. That's where Woody Page is doing his new show with us.
Nice.
Got Jake Plummer doing a show a couple days a week. I do a show with Chris Harris Jr. and then Chris Harris, Ryan Harris, and Shelby Harris. I'll do a show called We're the Harrises. So we got a bunch of fun stuff. Plus we cover the other teams, obviously, in the region as well, Coach Prime, et cetera. Although that is a whole different conversation about what's going on in Boulder. But yeah, check us out, all the Guerrilla Sports, guerrillasports.net, but Guerrilla like Guerrilla Warfare. And on all the socials as well at Guerrilla Sports.
Good to talk to you, my friend. I'll see you soon. Thanks for doing this.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
That's Brandon Krisztal. Really good segment. That's what we've done. We're real proud of what we do every week. We usually get you one or two guests from the opponent. And those are usually friends of mine I've known, and we can call them up and get them. Q does the same thing. Clay does the same on the morning show. So we want to give you the other side of it. Their pass rush is the story. So if Geno was playing at the level that Geno Clay is supposed to be playing at, so if Geno was having that 4,300-yard year, 70%, all of that, then I think that Geno would go out there and get the ball out quickly and take a deep shot. But I won't say it's training wheels because we didn't have training wheels on Geno against Jacksonville. He was all over in a good way. Geno's got to deliver for this organization a classic Geno big game, which he's had several throughout his career.
Yeah, and maybe that kick-started it, the Jacksonville game after he got Bowers engaged, and that connection maybe started refueling things because they kind of stopped the run game and just started passing the ball around. But when you're 15 of 19 in the second half, that's got to feel really good, confident going into the next game, knowing you can replicate that once you get the juices flowing.
All right, when we come back, next hour, I'm only going to stream for about another 15 minutes. We're going to talk F1. F1's coming to town in November 22nd. It's one of the biggest events in the world, and it's in Las Vegas. So we're going to be hitting on that a little bit. The rodeo's coming. Everybody wants to see me in my new brick rodeo outfit. You'll have to wait for that until December. But we got a lot more to cover here. Brought to you by Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. Virgin, one of the great properties during rodeo with all their entertainment coming up.
It's the morning tail race.
Go. All right. Be right there. on that we want to get in here.
You want to get into Chip stuff?
I just need one good Chip comment. One good Chip comment because Chip is moving the needle.
You could do how the trade for Jacoby Myers affects Trey Tucker.
Good. Let's do that. I'll throw to that. Got a nice crew here today. For everybody who's brand new, thanks for being here. Please click the like button right now. Got to hit like. And please subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. We'd appreciate that.
So whiskey, it's this bourbon whiskey, the Black Hole, and the Las Vegas Raiders. If it wasn't your game day whiskey, it is now.
Oh, and I'm going to give you a Woodson bourbon whiskey here, Clay.
Whiskey.com. It's promo code
Woodson whiskey.
WoodSonWhiskey.com, the official whiskey of Raider Nation. Please celebrate responsibly.
Zip Zap Auto has expanded into one of the largest independent auto repair shops in the valley. With 23 bays, over 12,000 square feet, Zip Zap is your one-stop shop, offering 24-hour spot test oil change.
UNLV basketball lost last night, Clay Baker. Are you kidding me?
Diagnostics with qualifying.
Who'd they lose to?
Service. Zip Zap.
Who did UNLV basketball lose to? Tennessee Martin or how is that possible? It's not possible. Oh no, UNLV. I want to support UNLV football and basketball.
We're talking the city system. Build.us. Well, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Turnover for the Las Vegas Raiders since they have a. And this contest needs a little more as they travel to Colorado to take on their AFC West rivals, the Denver Broncos. Can the Raiders take these conies and grab the win?
Sorry, coming back with that Tucker play, they got flagged in the end zone.
Provide
a possible touchdown and OT.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show. Brought to you by M Resort Spa Casino, the official hotel of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Geno to throw, pocket collapsing, dancing, escapes to the right, pressure, off his back heel, to the end zone, and it's Tucker came to the ball. Now he said he dropped it, but there is a flag down in the end zone.
Do you know that Trey Tucker is now our number one receiver? Our number one receiver. It used to be Devontae Adams. He didn't want to play here anymore. Jacoby Myers wanted new money. And I don't know, you could debate did he deserve it or not. They have a price point. I'm not available to see the whiteboard on what they thought he was worth. He was the number one. He's gone. So Trey Tucker is the number one receiver. It was going to be Henry Ruggs years ago. A brutal tragedy to Tina Tintor and what happened there. We brought in a lot of receivers. We had a guy by the name of Hunter Renfrow. And Hunter Renfrow's kind of out of the league, in the league now. We had Darren Waller, who was that was a nice number one target. Now we have Brock Bowers. So Brock Bowers is a hybrid. He's a tight end, but he's our number one. And we can't throw it to him on every play, but you know me, I throw it to him on every play. I've said that 1,000 times. We didn't go to him on the 2-point conversion. Geno missed 2 wide open receivers. He missed Tyler Lockett and he missed Jacoby. They were wide open. What happens? Those guys put their hands up on the last play. One of them blocked it. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Wow. I mean, I really wish we would have won that game. It would have been a freak show today. Would have been nuts today. I can't buy a call. I have a fistful of $50 Grimaldi calls. Everybody's gone. I'm trying to get people engaged for the Broncos. Man, it would have been nice to win that game. Beat the Broncos, come home for the Cowboys to be 5-5. That ship has sailed. Now we're just going to compete and win games. Compete and try to win every game. Chip Kelly was asked about the change-up now. Jacoby Myers is gone. Trey Tucker will be the number one receiver.
Yeah, I don't look at WR1s or WR2s or WR3s or W2s. I'm just we're trying to figure out whoever catches the ball and runs really fast with it in the direction of the end zone is really good for us. So wide receiver one and all that other stuff, I don't think we've ever looked at it like that as a staff. We have certain positions. What does our Z do? What does our X do? What does our slot receiver do? That's how we kind of look at positions, but we don't look at some weeks the inside guys will be featured more because that matchup is better for you. And then some weeks the matchup on the outside is better for you. So those guys are featured more. But a lot of it, obviously, in all these situations, the defense have a say in the matter. So I think that's part of what the game is. There's a chess match that goes on within the game of how are they going to defend you. You thought going into the game it was going to be one way, and then it is that way. So you kind of continue with the plan that you've made all week. But I've been in games where you thought they were going to defend you a certain way, and then they don't defend you like that at all. So you have to pivot because they made a decision to pivot. So that's the game within the game.
All right, so I don't agree with that either. He says he doesn't have a one or doesn't look at it that way. Randy Moss was a one. Okay, Devontae Adams was a one. Tim Brown was a one. Jerry Rice was a one. You got to have a one. And Jack Besh now has got to get the football. And I believe that Jack Besh will get the football more. I think that everybody in this organization, and I know it from the football side, I can confirm it, everybody's behind Jack Besh. He went to a tragedy. His brother was killed in a terrorist attack. He came right to the football field and put on the silver and black. He's been a great young man. Please concentrate on that. Don't yell at people because Jack Besh hasn't started off the way you'd like to. Okay? He's going to be fine. Let's help him get to where he needs to be. Let's help these guys like Dante Thornton. I saw some social media clip that said Dante Thornton's done. He's just gone. They can't stop. He's a young man. He's just playing. They got to help him get better. We know Ashton's playing well, as so is Brock when healthy. Trey Tucker's had a good year. The decline of Geno is real, but Geno might not be declined. He's just not playing well. Let me say that again. It's not like Geno fell off a cliff. Watch the fourth quarter against Jacksonville. Look at his footwork. Look at his body. Look at the degree of difficulty in the throws he made. He didn't fall off a cliff. But did he have several bad games this year? Absolutely. So how about a couple of good games? What will it take for that? Thanks to the bricklayers and everybody who joined us for the first hour as we stream live on Facebook, X, and our YouTube channel, JT the Brick YT. Tonight at 4 o'clock, I'll be I'll be a part of it. My son's producing it. The Rod Woodson podcast, Lay in the Wood. The legendary Rod Woodson will go through the whole schedule, the NFL trade deadline. You can subscribe for free at Lay in the Wood, wherever you get your podcast. Coming up next, I'm going to be talking about NASCAR F1 and racing in Vegas, because we're always promoting sports in Vegas, and racing in Vegas is big. If you're interested in that, stick around. And more Raiders talk. Chris Myers from the NFL on Fox, who called the Raiders' loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.